Welcome to Dark Corner's Horror Smackdown Round 2. In this round, we're taking a closer look at the bad guys, but we still want you voting for the best or your favourite film overall. Match 35, Jaws vs Godzilla. Without doubt, the scares in Jaws come from the great white mechanical shark. And we could talk much about how Spielberg expertly builds tension leading up to the shark attack. Or how he trains the audience by linking John Williams' iconic score to the presence of the shark, only to pull the rug out from beneath them when Jaws suddenly appears without his musical cue.
Slow ahead. I can go slow ahead. Come on down and chum some of this shit.
But there is another bad guy in the film.
Martin, you gonna shut down the beaches on your own authority?
Well, what other authority do I need?
The town's mayor actively wants to ignore the shark attacks as he fears what the lack of tourists could do to the island.
We're gonna have to hire somebody to kill the shark. I mean, we're gonna have to tell the Coast Guard.
Mr. Vaughan, you have to contact the shark
We're gonna have to put
research
extra
panel.
deputies on because
You
every
have to
member
ring
of the
this
world is gonna
entire
come in here.
harbor.
We gotta
I don't
spend
think
money
one of you are
familiar with our problem.
He's also too cheap to pay for experienced shark hunter Quint to catch the beast, instead relying on the greed of amateurs in overloaded boats to solve the problem.
You know those 8 guys in the fantail launch out there?
Yeah?
Well, none of them are going to get out of the harbor alive.
But when we talk about horror, we are talking about fear. And the only main character who is forced to confront their fear is Roy Schneider's Chief Brody.
We know all about you, Chief. You don't go in the water at all, do you?
Perhaps because of his fear of the water, Brody has no issues in quickly shutting down the beaches at the first whisper of shark attack.
Doesn't make much sense for a guy who hates the water to live on an island either.
And the more he reads, the more his fears are confirmed.
All right, Michael, out of the boat!
When the second shark attack happens, other people rush into the water to help people out. But Brody stops as his toes meet the tide. After his kids narrowly escape a shark attack, he knows he must confront his fear and head out onto the water. Out of his comfort zone, he stands apart from the 2 more experienced seamen, and when Jaws attacks, one by one, his lifelines are cut.
Coast Guard, this is the Orca to you.
Quint smashes the radio. They start to pull the shark into the shore,
We're heading in, Brody.
Thank Christ.
only for the boat engine to overheat.
All right, stop the boat. Stop the boat!
He is separated from Hooper. Quint is eaten. And the boat sinks, leaving Brody with no choice but to face his fear head on and destroy his enemy.
You son of a...
We can understand someone being afraid of a knife-wielding maniac, but in Jaws, Spielberg takes a simple fear of the water and ramps it up. It is Brody's personal struggle to overcome his fear that makes Jaws so satisfying to the audience.
I used to hate the water.
I can't imagine why.
Godzilla.
If you've only seen the monstrous Technicolor battle royales of Godzilla's later outings or the US remakes, then the original Godzilla or Gojira comes as a shock. There are still scenes of epic destruction, but these are sidelined by the overarching theme. A giant monster may be a potent adversary, but what it represents is something far worse. Godzilla was a way of addressing the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the looming nuclear spectres of Japan's near past, without mentioning them. The film depicts ordinary life in rural Japan. Then tears it apart. People are woken to feel their homes shaking. There are streams of evacuees and overcrowded hospitals. In later films, buildings would be knocked down with no indication that anyone might have been hurt, but this film is all about the human cost. and this starkly realistic depiction has a knock-on effect on the creature himself. Godzilla might not look real, but it doesn't matter because the situation is so real. The film also has an unexpected trump card. Professor Serizawa has developed a terrible weapon that could stop Godzilla. But he is afraid to use it, torn by what his decision might mean for the future of the world. It's a bold step to even hint at the American side of this, and bolder still that Serizawa eventually decides to use the weapon in the hope that it will prevent still greater loss of life. Few films do as good a job of tapping into the terrors of their target audience. To anyone watching Godzilla today with an open mind, it is an intense experience, but we can never really know how watching scenes like this felt to a Japanese audience who had lived through the real thing. Let us know your thoughts on these bad guys, and don't forget to vote on the horror film you want to see move into the next round.